Okay, let's talk about the power of headlines. And it doesn't matter if we're talking about blog posts or actual serious writing, or whether you do that on Substack or you have your own platform. Headlines are everything because they decide whether the person is going to click on it or not. The mistake that a lot of people make is as if they're already an established writer or an established entity on the internet. So what we tend to do is that we look at what other people are doing who are already established, and then we copy that, even though the things that established people do are not going to work for us per se. So one thing I read about, for example, is that on Substack, what a lot of writers do is they just call their newsletter, let's say, my name is Malena, Malena's newsletter. But when people are actually trying to look for content on the internet, it's not going to tell them anything about what I'm writing about or what I'm doing. So this concept also really applies when you start doing blog posts on the internet. And that's not even just for an SEO perspective, that matters too. But what people don't understand is that there's a whole funnel that goes before people click on something. So for example, let's say that I'm doing a blog post about bedroom organization ideas. What sounds more enticing to you? Just a post that is called bedroom organization ideas, or let's say 15 genius bedroom organization ideas that help you organize your space or organize your life or something like that. That gives people a result and a consequence of what they can expect. So obviously this is a very factual example and not all writing is like that, I get that, but there's a lot that you can already put in your headline that is going to give your audience the information that they need to decide whether they want to click or not. What you have to understand that if you are creating on the internet, then that means that you also need to understand marketing. Because as soon as we're creative and we decide that we kind of want to monetize that creativity, we are already doing marketing. So I think a lot of people have an issue with the fact that it is hard to go from just creativity and sharing your creative work to actually becoming strategic about your marketing. But if you want to make money with whatever it is that you're doing on the internet, with written text or whether it's videos or a Substack or your own blog, you need to understand the power of good headlines. And this is basically just marketing and knowing how to put yourself out there. Also, people are just really specific about what they're gonna click on. If it's vague and it doesn't really tell me what they can expect, people are not gonna click. People really thrive on clarity. That's one thing I've really learned from blogging for like over 3 years now, is that whenever I craft a title that has strong sense of clarity, that people know exactly what they're going to expect when they click on it, these headlines are so much more successful than your basic ass headlines. From a Google perspective, I think people are not preparing enough for that either. Ultimately, what I do is write content that shows up on Google. And what happens is, if you rank for a keyword, let's go back to the example of the bedroom organization ideas. So when you type into Google bedroom organization ideas, you're gonna have a lot of competing posts alongside yours. That makes you understand even more why a good title is so important, because you're going to be competing with a lot of other headlines. And if you have a basic headline and all the other ranking articles have an interesting twist to it or additional information that tells the reader if this is a post for them or not for them, that is going to really help you get clicks and get people to read your stuff. So some basic things that you can think of when crafting a good headline is to just think about power words. Power words are just anything that provokes a bit of an emotion. It could be as simple as like best or genius or things like that. That is like very marketing-ish. But even if your style of content is not like that, you can still use that principle that in your titles, make sure that you provoke some sort of an emotion in somebody that makes them feel like this is the best piece of content that they're going to read about this topic, or it's the most, I don't know, thought-provoking, heartfelt kind of. You want to make it sound interesting for the reader.